Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 7 of our 100 Days of Zentangle project for 2020. Welcome, all of you. Thank you for being with me today. It has been wonderful tangling with you guys every day, and I just want to say thank you. This is the end of our first official week of the 100-day project for 2020, and I'm pretty excited. So today's tangle is a tangle called O. And it is EAU. O. All right. This is by Christina. CZT Christina Carroll. All right. O, as in eau de parfum. Forgive me for butchering the French language, but someone had to do it. Okay, so O, as I'm going to call it, O, is a variation of Cadent, and I recommend highly, Rebecca, that you get a piece of scratch paper and practice this, because it is a little bit of a brain teaser. You're going to want to make a dot grid, but with nice big open circles, and you're going to want to leave yourself lots of room. I don't recommend doing this in the small until you have mastered it in the large. Let me put one more row so we can see the complete finished tangle, like so. Now, if you'll remember with Cadent, we did these open S shapes like this, and we took off and landed on the next one over like that, right? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here, only we're going to go on the diagonal, all right? So, hi Karma, hi all you cats and puppies, especially those pugs. We like pugs. All right, so we're going to take off and land just as we do in Cadent. We're going to go up and go down to the diagonal and then land. Okay? We're going to continue to do this on each diagonal going over. Take off up, go down, and eventually we're going to get there. Next, take off up, curve down, and land. So this is our first row. The next rows are going to be exactly the same. We're going to take off up and land under. Take off up, land under, up, and land under. All right, let's continue to do that. Taking off up and landing on the bottom on the opposite side. All right, so you should have a grid now that looks rather like this. It's kind of pretty. Okay, now we're going to talk about echo lines a little bit better today. All right, I'm going to do one of these to show you an example. Taking off up and going down. Now, a lot of you are experienced tanglers, and it does not matter to you. You already know how to do this, and that's okay. If you're not, let me give you some tips for how to echo this line in the way that this tangle does. So in the tangle, they want you to echo, which means to start the same line, get a little bigger or smaller, and go down, or end on the same line. Okay? And you're going to do 2 of those on each side. So taking off and landing. And it'll give this sort of a nice, pretty little flow pattern, okay? Another thing you can do with this, sorry, that one isn't really diagonal, is it? Well, I just lost my train of thought. Another thing you can do is put a little sparkle in 1 or 2 of your lines to make them more interesting. Or you can do your center line like that. Just leave a little gap in it. That is going to make the rest a little more interesting, and you can do those as you wish. I suggest highly that you practice this form of the I don't know what is wrong with my tongue today, of the diagonal cadent, and then with the echo lines coming out. Now, a tip for echo lines is this. Now, when I usually do this, I am rather in a hurry, and I am drawing my echo lines by taking off and landing the same way as I always do. And the problem is that, not that this is a bad thing, but that with this pattern, this is too much on top and too much over here. So my suggestion is, when you draw that center middle cadent stroke, don't start here to aura or echo this. Start here on this line like that. What that's going to do is leave more space over here and not have all of this wound around, because when we get our, this is going to go, we're going to go crossways underneath these. And that's going to become very difficult if we have a lot of stuff around the little circle. So my suggestion is to start on the line after you get away from the little ball and echo those that way, and then you have lots of room around this ball for your takeoff and landings that are going other directions. Okay, so let's put this into practice over here real quickly. I'm going to carefully draw in these echo lines. I'm going to try really hard to make them even and to not get these circles all clumped up. Okay, so that would be one. Remember, we want to do 2 echo lines for each side. All right, like that. And then on the other side, like this. Okay, now that leaves us quite a bit of room here for the next step. Do a couple more. And notice how the top one is starting over here and not even back here and ending up here. All right, now this is my way. You don't have to do it this way. A lot of you may have your own way of doing that, and some of you may not have the issues that I have with my little echo lines getting out of control, but some of you may, so food for thought. How's that? Okay, one more. Okay. Okay. So now that you have a couple of rows done, or your rows going this way done, it's time to do the rows going the opposite direction that are going to cross these. Now, I didn't think it would be this problematic, but there is some thinking involved. So on these we have gone this way, up and over and down, okay? Now on this, we are going to go opposite of what we would normally do. So this is going to go this way, and this is going to come down under here and go this way. Okay, so it'll go this way. All right, so let's do that. So we're going to take our cadent, and the top stroke is going to be over here, and we're going to stop when we get to this other form, and then we're going to guesstimate where we're going to come out down here. And you can see here why it's so important not to have these middle things all gunked up. Now, in her step out, she has you crossing these lines and not worrying about going behind them. I don't think it's possible for me to do that just because of my OCD, but you may do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think it makes for a much nicer, neater pattern like this. Now I'm going to add my echo lines. And one more, starting midway up. And these are just hints of echoes. And like so. Okay? Now I am drawing behind, and again, she has you just drawing through these lines on the step out, and that way of doing things is fine if that's what you want to do. I'm going to go underneath or behind. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do this again, and this is going to go this direction now. Okay? So I'm going to start up, and I'm going down and under here and coming back up this way. All right? It's not a very pretty line, but it's hard to do when it gets interrupted a couple of times in there. And one more. And I'm just going to leave that off down there. She says that she doesn't. And there's one on this side. And one on that side. So this is going to be our basic pattern. All right? It does take practice. And the hardest thing for me to remember is to go opposite on these where they join up, where you have more than one section coming off of the same dot. All right, so instead of going under the way I want to, I'm going to go over here and go under here. Now, I wondered whether or not this was going to be a big deal if I were to draw it differently, like it would be comfortable to do. But it really doesn't give you the same effect. So now one other thing that she did in her step out, which I thought was brilliant, was her little balls got very inked out. And so she just blacked them. And if they got too inked out, she just went through with a jelly roll and put a little highlight in there. Okay. So this, now, when you get down on the second row, you've already got 3 things coming off of this one. And remember, we're gonna want to go opposite of what this one did. So we're going to start going this way, and I am going to be, where am I going to be matching up? Over here? Can that be? Yep, over here. I'll be coming from here over, and I'm going to be under here. So, however you need to approach this, probably better than that, I hope. And then, and I'm going to pretend like this is all done. Like that. Okay? So, does take practice. All right? Now, I am going to do a small section on a tile. It's our day 7 tile for the 100 Days of Zentangle. And this is O. Sorry, I can't help it. So I'm going to do a small, large grid, if that makes sense. So I'm making these nice and big. And I'm going to do one more row or 2. I think these little circles are getting bigger. Well, all right. If we're going to do it, let's jump all the way into the pond and do it. All right. Well, I'm jumping right in, aren't I? Okay. Why? Well, I didn't mean to be this adventurous, but here you go. So I'm just going to get started, and y'all follow along with me, okay? Remember, you're going to start up and over, curve the line slightly in that S shape, and down and under. And repeat. Up and over, down and under on the diagonal. Don't freak out if you don't have your squares all set perfectly. I think we all know that is not where I live. Embracing your imperfections or your perceived embracing your perceived imperceptions is an important thing about life, I think. All right, that was a little whimsical on that one, but let's keep going. We're going to find out what happens when we have those. Now on tanglepatterns.com there is a second variation of this. It basically gives you the same pattern, same look. The pattern has the same look. However, the unders and overs are a little bit different in variation 1 and variation 2. Meaning that in one of the variations they do it like this, and they're all crisscrossed in the same way. And in the other variation, she has made the second row opposite, and so that's interesting. All right, that's going to go up. If we're going to do this all, we might as well go. Might as well go with it all. Simba is having a doggy dream. Now, if you want to not do this on your entire tile or page, and you just want to do a smaller version, I totally understand. I'm going to regret doing this entire tile, but we're going to see how fast we can do it. Now, y'all take your time. I might try to do it fast. All right, here we go. Do one direction first all the way down, and then turn and do the other direction. I am just pretending that these have room to go on here so that I've got my directions all set when we get going. Once again, I'm going to try to take my time. A lot of traffic noise today. So yesterday it was in Fahrenheit, it was in the 70s. What is that? Like 20 degrees Celsius, something like that. Today we have wind chills in the teens in Fahrenheit here, which is very cold because in our state the wind blows quite hard. All right, I think I may have put an extra one in there, but that's okay. It'll be fine. If I will stop pointing these things out, nobody is going to notice. Okay. And I will speed this up for you. All right, now let's talk it through as we go, because otherwise I will be confused. So, starting on top, we're going to go have our S shapes go the opposite direction. So remember, here we are going to be going over and then under on this diagonal, okay? So whichever way is more comfortable for you, this is going to go under. And since I can see, let's see, it's going to go over. Okay, since I can see where I'm going, I think I'm going to go up this way. And then do my almost echo lines, since we're drawing behind. And one more here. And there we have our first one. That looks like it needs one extra line, doesn't it? All right. Okay, so this is going to be fun. Shading will be fun as well. So over and, okay, so over on this side and over behind here, okay? And our first echo line. And the second one on that side. And we're not going to see most of it, and that's okay. Start the two echo lines on the other side. Just like that. Now you're starting to see how cool this is going to be, right? So hang in there. Keep after it. Think, okay, go for your diagonal. You're going to go over on the right side, under on the left side, unless you're a lefty, in which case you're going to be opposite of me. I think I got that one a little more, a little bit better curved. Oops. Little stray lines. That happens with me. But, you know, what I notice is once you have done with the shading and gotten everything else all fixed the way you want it, it doesn't even matter anymore. Nobody will notice all of the little, your perceived mistakes, if you will. I don't believe, even though I still feel I make mistakes, even though that's exactly opposite the Zentangle philosophy, it's a very important mindset to try to talk yourself into. There's a lot of fear and anxiety that goes along with feeling like your work isn't good enough. And if there's nothing else I can do, I want to help you guys to lose that feeling, because everyone starts at the beginning. Nobody popped out knowing how to do all this stuff. So keep in mind that you're a work in progress, just like I am and everyone else is. Now, once again, when you cross down here, you can draw over those lines, but I'm not going to, because that would just make my perfectionist OCD crazy. And that's a real thing. At least it's a real thing for me. Okay. Now take your time with this part, as always. You don't want to be in a rush, or you get frustrated and accidents happen. Let's just go with that. All right. Over and under. So it's hard to get a nice perfect curve on that when you keep having to stop. One more here. I like it. I like it. All right, guys, I'm going to finish this up. Remember, on the second row, when we're going underneath stuff, we're going in the opposite direction. So it's over to the right and under on the left bottom, okay? So over and under. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, this is our basic pattern. So now I'm not going to do anything extra exciting today. Because I feel like this pattern is work enough on its own. And so if you want to play with it a little bit and see if something comes out of this for you, that is fine. I'm just sort of finishing up these little spots. All right, so for shading, that's going to be a no-brainer. You're going to, of course, shade everywhere where these part, where these go over and under, okay? So, for example, shade right here, but I wouldn't down here, or you can, and shade here. And then I would shade also just a tiny bit where the lines come together. Tortillon time. So for blending this out, you want to leave the middles of these forms. You want to leave those without pencil, without shading. But then if you will shade where they overlap, okay, that will help lift them up from the one behind them. Now you can do both sides or just one. And let me show you on this one. What I'll be doing is shading on these top ones. Be shading at both ends where the lines come together, and I'll be leaving the center without graphite. So that's going to create a natural sort of highlighted look to this. Now I will be taking some time with the pencil on this because I think to get the shading right, it's going to take several passes, and so I don't want to bore you guys with that. But this is our Tangle for today. And don't forget to turn your tile over and put your name And the date, it's April the 13th, 2020. This is O by Christina Carroll. You always want to put what tangle it is, because trust me, after you've done about 500, you won't know anymore. Some of them you'll know. And this is 100 Days of Zentangle. Oops, I forgot my L. You guys will know what I mean. 2020. All right, day 7. Okay, guys, this is O. I will be playing with this. I will probably black all of these little circles in and just leave a small highlight, sort of like that. If my lines are too messy, I will probably just use my jelly roll for a highlight. I may do some line emphasis where it overlaps. I haven't decided. I think it's just going to be a fun thing, and I will be interested to see how y'all's turned out. So post on Instagram, hashtag the Tireless Tangler, or hashtag 100 Days of Zentangle 2020. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 8. Thanks for being here. Bye.